absent students, but I like to tape it on a desk or on something first and then peel it off, because if you guys have ever done this before, sometimes it'll rip off the paper, and by kind of pre-sticking it first, that helps. You can see it's like half on the paper and half off. That's gonna leave a really nice border. Put your phones away, please. You don't need them right now. Thank you. So I'm gonna make this border, and what you'll see is in this finished one that I did last year, that leaves a really nice border around the edge here for framing, or just it adds a nice finish to your watercolor painting. And I'll let you guys choose whether you want to do this size, which is really nice to work with, or if you want to do the smaller size. Either one is fine. They should take about the same amount of time. So I'm gonna finish taping this outside. So this is an important part of your project. And then the next thing I'm gonna do today is I'm going to plan an arrangement of about 5 trees. I'm gonna say 5. At least 5 watercolor trees. Now here's another choice that you can make. You're gonna have to choose whether you want your watercolor to be a portrait or a landscape format. So just think about how you want those trees arranged. Look at some examples online of birch tree paintings, and then make your decision. So you can see I've got 5 trees in each of these, and they're gonna overlap each other. At least the branches are. And I'd like to have one tree maybe overlapping another tree. And we're gonna make them at different heights on our paper. So you can see the bottom of the tree kind of dictates how far back it is visually. So that's one thing that we can think of instead of just making all our trees in a straight line. We want to put some in the background and then some in the foreground. So I'm going to kind of sketch in where I want my trees to be. And I'll show you that today. And the order of our trees is going to be important, because I'm going to want to peel off these trees in a certain order, because the leaves that I'm going to put on here are going to cover a lot more up front, kind of and in the back at different. So there's going to be like all the leaves on this tree, all the leaves on this tree, but the leaves from this tree should definitely overlap the leaves from these back trees. So I'm going to draw my trees with paint with tape first. So I'm going to put them in, and that means I have to make my tape get wet as it gets closer to the top of my paper. Thinner. So I'm going to have to rip my tape so that I have some skinny pieces and some thicker pieces, and then arrange them accordingly. Otherwise, I'm going to have things that don't look like trees. They just look like logs stacked on top of each other. And so if I pre-rip lots of those, and you'll see I'm going to go in and draw little branches later for my teeniest branches, but we want to kind of plan our masking tape so that we're peeling these. We want to end up peeling the trees back to forward so that the last tree gets the spatter that kind of covers the back trees. So since I'm going to peel these back trees first, I want to put that masking tape on the back trees last. So I'm going to start masking my biggest trees first, and then I'm going to move back and mask these ones last so that I'm peeling those off and spattering those, and then I would peel this one off last. So to start though, I'm going to get my pencil and I'm going to draw really lightly kind of my composition. So in your sketchbooks today, you are going to figure out your thumbnails for this really quick. Should just take you a couple minutes. So I might do one landscape and one portrait, and I'm going to decide where I want my foreground to go. Usually I like it to slope up a hill a little bit. You usually want your foreground or your this ground to be about 3/4 of the way down your paper. So then you're going to kind of plan where you want your trees, and keeping in mind that they all need to be different heights. Okay, so I can have one that goes all the way to the bottom of the page. I can have one that's almost to the bottom of the page. We want these branches to overlap. I could have a couple small ones in the background. I could have one that overlaps one. Again, you can look at pictures of these if you want, but kind of figure out where, you know, which idea you like the best. You could make it kind of opening up into a field if you wanted and keep all the trees heavy on one side. But you might want to look at some pictures too and see different artists and different styles that you like. Once you have those plans down and you get your paper taped, you can start and lightly put in those lines. Because remember, when you do watercolor is very transparent, so just keep in mind that your pencil lines are going to show through. So the only lines I'm really going to put in right now is that 3/4 of the way down the paper line, and then I'm going to start to build my trees. And first I like to take off this masking tape, and whenever I get a skinny piece like this, I'm going to save it for the top of a tree. And then when I get a nice piece like that kind of slowly gets thinner, I'm going to put that on. And keep in mind that trees do break into two large sections at some point. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to kind of work on getting a few, probably about 5 to 6 main branches on each tree, and then I'm just going to keep kind of working those out, keeping in mind I can paint other ones later. And I'm just gonna keep working these trees. And then I just realized that I'm supposed to do this one last because it's the biggest. So I actually need to do my small trees first. No, did I do that right? No, I'll do my small trees last. Yeah. Big trees first, small trees last. So I'm gonna kind of put in where I want the height of each of these trees to go. And then I'm gonna slowly mask those all in. So remember, these ones that are further back, I'm gonna have to work harder to get smaller pieces because I don't want the trunk to be the same width as that one. So the first part of your grade today is just your attention to detail in your masking. So I'd like you guys to all have your trees masked today. I do not want them to be trees that look like this, or you will not have like a starting grade for this. So make sure that you're not wasting materials and that you're looking at what trees look like and trying to, you know, really emulate that. So, do you guys have questions about your objectives for the day? By the end of today, I'd like you to have your trees masked, and I think that's pretty reasonable since we have a long day today. So I have this size watercolor paper, and I also have the larger size. Please take a look at these. I'll leave them in the middle here so that you have a You guys can also use scissors if you want a finer control over these, but it does look really nice if you use the ripped edge as the edge of your trunk. It gives it a nice birch feel.